Well, hello there. This is Dr. Dell, Craig Hain, and this video is about how you can teach your child practical algebra and geometry and trigonometry, all three of these in 3 months. Notice I emphasize the word practical. Now, I'm going to assume that your student does understand the decimal number system and has mastered the use of the TI-30XA scientific calculator. If that's not the case, then go ahead down and see below at the end of this video and this message. But assuming that's true, then your student can master practical algebra, geometry, and trigonometry in about 3 months, studying math for about 3 hours a week, I would say. Now, that's because there's going to be 35 lessons to do this. Each of these lessons is going to teach a concept. It's going to utilize a tutorial video, which I've done for your student, along with notes, exercises, which your student will do. That's how you learn math. You do it, you learn by doing after you understand the concept and what you're doing. And then a quiz to be sure that you've mastered that lesson before you move on. And also a forum. So if you're having trouble, you've watched a video several times, you don't understand it, you can ask a question. Now, learning math this way is like climbing a ladder. You got to do it one step at a time. You can't miss any steps. And when you do that, it's really easy and fun. And that's really the critical thing about math. You got to make it easy, very easy to do, and you got to make it fun. And that's true of practical algebra and geometry and trigonometry. And by the way, this is not like anything taught in any other standard course that I've ever heard of. Now, what that's going to involve then is about 3 lessons per week for about 12 weeks, which, in other words, 3 months. Now, what about a lesson? Well, a lesson will take longer or shorter for some students, but in general, it'll take about 2 30-minute study sessions per lesson. And usually those should be spread apart 2 different days. And so that's why it's going to end up taking most students this 3 months. You're going to study 2 30-minute sessions. And by the way, it's all self-paced. So if they miss a few days or whatever, come back, that's okay. And they can always go back and review. That's very, very important. In fact, we encourage them to spend a lot of time going back and reviewing things they've already learned, because a lot of times you don't master it until you've done it several times. Now, what's it going to cost to do this, you might ask, of course. And the answer is less than $1 per day. In fact, maybe much less, as you'll see why in a moment. All you need to do is join what we call the Succeed with Math Crusade for $29 a month. And that does include now training for all of the students in one family. So if you've actually got more than one student, it's even less than if you got 2 students, it's less than 50 cents a day, 3 students, and so on. Now, you can print out, there's notes to do this, notes and exercise. You can print them out. There's about 226 pages in a PDF format you can print out. But the facts of the matter are, thanks to Amazon today, you can get them already printed out for $7.99 by going to this link here, Amazon, and I'll show you this link here in a moment and what it is to do it. In fact, let's just do it right now and see what happens. I'm going to click on that, and that takes you to the Amazon thing. This is Dr. Dell's Tier 2 Notes. It's 226 pages, $7.99. If you got Amazon Prime, there won't even be any shipping or handling. And for a lot of people, that's much, much better than printing out the notes. And you got to print out the notes for the student, because when the student's doing the video, they'll be filling in the notes. Then they got exercises to do, fill that in. That's what they used to go back and review. And this is all in a beautiful bound thing. In fact, if you can see it in my video here, this is the notebook that comes from Amazon, 8.5 by 11, about 256 pages for these 35 lessons. Okay, now let me go back to the PDF here. I can figure out how to do that. Okay, now what are going to be the results if you do this for your student? Well, when you're finished, your student is going to know more math than most adults in the United States. And better yet, maybe better yet, have a great foundation for more math studies If your student wants to go beyond that, wants to go to college or study some STEM subjects, science and engineering, this is the perfect, great foundation. This is where you should start, practical math. Now, it may turn out that when you get going in this, it can end up being free for your whole family. And you'll learn about that once you join the crusade, because the facts are, if you join the crusade for $29 a month, and then if you go out and tell other people about it and give them a free gift, and then they join it, and if 2 or more join it, you end up then basically getting your money back every month for it. And you'll learn about that later, but it could be free to your family in the long run. Now, if your student has not yet mastered the decimal number system and the use of the scientific calculator, then you need to begin to master that. And I suggest you go to homeschoolertoday.crusade and get a free gift to get you started. Now, if you click on that, that'll take you to this Homeschooler Today Crusade site. And right up here, you click on your free gift. This is how you, by the way, when you join the crusade for $29 a month, this is how you join it. This tells you all about the crusade. It's based on 5 propositions about homeschooling that I think you'll find very interesting. And I have a video that discusses them and why homeschooling is so critically important today to the world we live in, and obviously to you and your family if you're involved in homeschooling. So if I advise you to go to the crusade, get your free gift and get started. And then when you're ready, join the crusade and succeed with math. Now, if you need to contact me, you can do so with questions. I'm Craig Hain. You can go to my website, craighain.com. And by the way, when you do that, when you go to my website at craighain.com, let's see, it doesn't want to do it here. So let me go down and go back to it myself here. Let's see, how am I going to do this now? Okay. When you go to my website, craighain.com, what you can do there, and I mentioned to you in the PDF, is you can download the 6 tiers and look at them and see what you're going to be getting. So if you download this PDF, tier 1 through tier 6, what you're going to get is you're going to get exactly what I'm talking about in these 3 weeks. First of all, in tier 1, your student has learned how to use the calculator and pre-algebra. And if you haven't done that, we get your free gift, you'll learn all about how to do that. But here's the tier 2 I'm talking about. Here's the practical algebra your student needs. Here's 10 lessons. And this is all the algebra you're going to need for practical math. If you're going into the military or into an apprentice program or something of that nature, into some sort of a technical field, this is the algebra you need. But notice there's only 10 lessons. It's not like a big, thick algebra book with all kinds of stuff in it that's obsolete or theoretical that you'll never need. And then after those 10 lessons of algebra, and you need those 10 lessons, by the way, you've got to learn, you got to use algebra to solve problems. Then you got geometry. Now, it turns out that this is all about how long should something be, what should be the area, what should be the volume. These are practical things you need in all sorts of technical subjects, whether it's landscaping or carpentry or anything really. And there's 19 lessons in geometry. Actually, there's 18 lessons in geometry, because the 19th lesson asks you, what do you do when you have to deal with angles? And sometimes geometry and algebra is not enough for angles. Then you need this subject called trigonometry. Now that scares a lot of people, because trigonometry is a very huge subject for science. But in the beginning, it's very easy to learn practical trig. There's only actually 7 lessons. That's where we came up with 35. You've got 18 and 7 is 25, plus the 10 algebra, that's 35. And this is all the practical trigonometry you need. Now, by the way, what makes this doable, both the algebra, geometry, and trig, is the scientific calculator. That's why we can do this so efficiently compared to what it used to be. And I don't know of any other course that teaches these practical things. Now, that doesn't mean you've learned all the math that you'll ever need if you're going to go into science and engineering or go to college. And there's 4 more tiers that we have to do that. But I'm not going to get into that on this video. This video is to get you started. I don't care how old your student is. If they're 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, this will be a great thing for them. There's just no other way around it. And even if you're studying other math curriculums, that's fine. This will be a great supplement to it and give them confidence in the other curriculums. But it may turn out that once you've done this, you may want to continue in the crusade in our curriculum and you'll learn all about it now. But once you enter the crusade, you'll be learning all about math and how it should be taught today in the 21st century and all of that. There's a lot to it. Very few homeschool parents are aware of it today. It's not their fault because there aren't any other programs that are really teaching 21st century math the way it ought to be taught. And that's what we do. But it starts with this: practical algebra, geometry, and trigonometry, all in a matter of about 3 months for your student. Gives them self-confidence, gives them high self-esteem, and it gives them the foundation they need. So this is Craig Hayner, Dr. Dell, and I thank you very much for watching this video. And I hope that you do now go and enroll your student in this program and really get them started right. And keep up the good work, because homeschool is going to save the country, I do believe. So Dr. Dell, I will see you on other videos.